Before we begin, those who are right now here, just to get a hint of this, out of us, how many schools are using any simple application of artificial intelligence? Any hands to be raised? Any schools or colleges, universities? Perfectly fine. Okay, so, and do you believe that AI will be the future for your school? Okay, so we are saying some yes, some no. Part of the future. Very good. Thank you. Excellent. So maybe today, just in brief, by the time everybody comes in, I am going to give a brief overview of what is happening in the world for AI, mainly on the new world, and what is going to happen in the global south, what we are in actually. So that's the major part. So maybe I will begin my parts. Everybody is coming in. My name is Heram Kulkarni, and I am going to share my thoughts on the artificial intelligence integration for the K-12 curriculum for new society. So namaste everyone, and tervetuloa or moi in Finnish. I am originally from India, born and brought up here, but I moved to Finland almost 20 years back, and currently I am heading an organization called Council for Creative Education as a director and strategy head. We design Finnish curriculum schools, and we develop the teacher training programs for the teacher professionals, as well as we develop the accreditation programs for the schools globally. And I am also responsible for EU programs for the research at CCE and mainly for the international collaborations. As a background, my research background is in the field of artificial intelligence and learning experience platforms, and currently that's work is being done at the University of Jyväskylä, which is one of the topmost university in the field of education and technology. And other than that, my role previously has been working with various governments as well as with the large organizations, mainly for consulting and as well as designing education reforms, mainly with government of Chhattisgarh in India, as well as we worked with the Kingdom of Bahrain, as well as in the USA and UK as well. So that's a brief about me as an organization and as well as me as a person. But I hope that actually in the previous one speaker actually, she mentioned about this developments in the industry, how the industry is changing from the steam engine and it is going to the mass production on the assembly lines in the industry 2.0 to the technological parts with the help of computers, as well as in the cyberspace now, what we call currently as a industry 4.0. And what the future of the industry is looking at with the human robots and with the getting the cognitive systems in place so that the systems can self-learn as well as develop their own cognition in the process. So this is the process the industry is changing. I'm sure that you all are aware about if there is an industry 5.0, there has to be society 5.0. But how the society 5.0 looks like is that we started with a hunting society, hunter-gatherers, and then we went to the agrarian or agricultural based society. Then we settled down and then did the mass production with the industrial society, and then what we are currently in is an information society. What the world is looking at, and at the same time many countries are already there, what we call as a creative society. So at Council for Creative Education, we design and research exactly in this area that how the society 5.0 will shape and what are the new trends in the field of society, healthcare, education, and mainly we concentrate in the field of education. And what the skill sets or what kind of a typical characteristics of the future this society will look like at the, instead of just having the products or services, it will give the more rise to the value creation, and it will give the importance to the autonomous decentralization. So that's where, so the individuals will have more power than the organizations or individuals will have more power, and that's how the society 5.0 will shape its future. But having said so that, okay, it looks like a far-fetched future for you, but let me give you the short break for that. Let's see, if you see this society 1.0 to society 4.0, in each of these steps, it took more than 70,000 years to move from first phase to the second phase. It took another 35,000 years to move from the second phase to the industrial society. But it took only few hundreds years to move to the information one. So the speed at which society is moving is super fast. So it's not a very far-fetched thought that what we are talking. Same thing is happening with the industrial revolution. Industrial revolution is, earlier it was a bit slow in hundreds of years, then it's decades, and now it is coming in some years. So with this part, we can really see that the speed at which the industry as well as the society changing is amazing. But is the education changing in that fashion? The answer is unfortunately no. But is education changing something elsewhere? The date 22nd November 2022 was a deciding date for all these things, where everybody got woken up and say, okay, this is where the things are changing because of the AI. There is a country which makes this possible. Just watch this video, that what is possible. This is the first country which gave a right for everyone to have AI knowledge way back in 2017. Finland foresighted it that a creative society 5.0 should have the AI enablement, and every citizen should be aware of that. We are one of the happiest country, but the secret behind that happiness comes or stems through the education. We really believe in the lifelong learning, where every individual, irrespective of their background, will get a free compulsory education starting from early years till postdoctorate, doctorate degree, doesn't matter, for any state. Equal opportunity, equity is the space. That's how the society 5.0 will look like in the future. Everyone's potential, individual's potential should be maximized. That's the main motto behind how the Finland society is developing. And for that we definitely use various learning technologies, we use amazing methods, but the center of this are the teachers. We have the teachers. Every teacher in Finland, even if at the first grade, you have to be master's degree holder. It's a 5 years university level program, and that's the requirement for teaching anywhere in primary schools or secondary schools. The reason also behind that part, our most senior teachers teach in early years. And as you go, our most so-called grade 12 and so, we have very young people, because we need to connect people, learners, those who are on the same age, those who know the technology. So these are some of the traits what we are having, and in higher education itself we mainly concentrate on learning where the teacher-student interaction as a paramount, but with the advent of technology we can really see that how it is changing step by step, and that's where I'm going to put my entire emphasis of my presentation, that how this lifelong learning is going to affect the future of education 5.0 and as well as the society itself. Because we really see that learning is not for the school, but learning is for life. That's the motto on which Finland builds its entire society. So I'm sure that as you can see that as it was Industry 4.0, 5.0 now actually, so Education 4.0 has been also defined in the same way, where we are giving, instead of the lecture or rote-based learning, we are giving more towards the innovation and design-based thinking for the education. Now you may think that this is going to happen somewhere in the future, as I mentioned, but let me tell you, we are doing a research in University of Jyväskylä. Our current trend shows that the adoption of the AI in the global south, mainly in the developing countries, will be much faster than that of Europe or in global north. and it is going to happen in next 10 odd years. That means the students are far ahead of us, and they are already using most of the tools what we discussed today. Many of you were taking the photographs of our previous presenters. The students knows those tools easily. Unfortunately, teachers and schools don't know about that. That's where the Education 5.0 is going to take the place. And what we need in this 5.0 version is a more of the humanistic values. Our keynote address by His Excellency Minister of Education, Permanent Secretary, really mentioned that the dharmic values, what we really make sense, they are going to change how the education is going to impart in the future. So the social skills, empathy, and how a learner can develop itself as an entrepreneur, as a self-motivated learner, and a lifelong learner. After some years, you will see that currently the average life, you can consider yourself as a 70, 75. But in northern part of Europe, the average lifespan goes to 83 or 85 years. You see 100-year-old people working normally. That means with the advent of health development, you can see that you have to work in the field till age of 80, 85, and you will enter the job market at the age of 25. You have to be 60 years in the job market. And for 60 years, you have to change at least 10 times your career, minimum, in total different domains in the future. Are we ready for that kind of skill development at the school level? Because whatever we think that we need to develop at the K-12 level, so that it will give the boost for the long-term development of a brain, as well as overall humanistic professional development, as well as personal development. So these are the next level challenges that what we are facing, and that's is the requirement, how the technology is getting integrated in all these cases. It is impossible to track and keep updated yourself by always going to the school. That's why technology comes in hand to it, and I'm going to give a small snapshot for that. So at Council for Creative Education, we exactly work on the same area of designing new technologies for learning and developing Finnish curriculum schools globally. And we are official member of Education Finland, which is under the Ministry of Education and under the National Agency for Education. And while doing this, we design, promote, and educate and invent in the field of creative pedagogy. And we work mainly with the governments, as I mentioned, that we work with the large governments, and as well as we develop own schools, and we work with the existing schools. And one of the future schools what we are looking at, and that's why actually my main partner, I would like to thank Dr. Bhatia for having me here, mainly because he gave us an opportunity to share our idea and thoughts, what kind of future Finnish schools are coming even to India. And we are going to give a AI-enabled schools thinking concept on the same line. So, again, we were talking that, okay, we need a lot of skills in the future to get upgrade ourselves, lifelong learner, but still we are not sure what kind of skill level we are there. This is called as a skill index. In education 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, a learner and a teacher needs this kind of skill level. But if you see with the advent of the AI integration, the skill requirement is going to at least 20-fold, 30-fold. And I'm going to prove this with the examples. Now, if you see the kind of work, if your students are using ChatGPT, what is your role? What is the role of a teacher then? The teacher role is not to just check what they have copy-pasted, but the role is to from where it is being copy-pasted, from where it is coming from, how to find that whether it's from ChatGPT or whether it's from Gemini or whether it's from different sources, and how you can be able to find. So you need more number of tools and more skills to find out different sources. Leave apart that part. Even now you can contextualize that word and reword it, rephrase it, and you can humanize that text even if it is coming from ChatGPT. But don't worry, still it is going to find it out. So the teacher's job is to do research how the students are thinking and not what students are sharing. That's where the major thought process of the skills are there. And the critical part of a teaching is coming to the motivation to learn. You will have a lot of content. Content is ubiquitous, and that's why even the National Education Policy of Government of India, NEP 2020, has a major focus on the skills. But it is very difficult to transfer the skills from a teacher to learner. And that's where the challenge comes from, and that's where we work in the field of K-12 curriculum for that. So if you see the top 10 skills for the Education 4.0, which has been given by Gartner's, and these are the skills which you will find anywhere in the industry as well. But it is more required to develop this skill in the education parlance, in the education context, not through the industrial model, but the pedagogical model. And that's where we are concentrating on the creativity, critical thinking, and service orientation. And I think these words are quite familiar in the industry as well, actually. And that's where the future learners are coming for. And to make this possible, this has a complete correlation to the National Education Policy, what is already been framed. But we work with many schools. In India, we are right now working approximately 10 schools, private schools as well as around 20 public schools or government school, including Jilla Parishad schools as well. And while working with that, we found that everybody would like to name themselves as a NEP model school, but unfortunately, what exactly that means is very difficult to say. But I will encourage you to visit some of the schools. I will give the references at the end, where you can really go and see how the pedagogy has been implemented or how the NEP curriculum can be changed step by step. It's not a major cut through. It's not about infrastructure. It's not about classic smart boards, but it's about teachers, teachers, and teachers. That's how it can be really work and how the learners can develop through this process. So,
OpenAI
I'm coming
invited
to the teachers.
myself and my son Imran
to
try out some of their new technology. And so we're curious about how good it might be at tutoring someone in math on Khan Academy. So let's get it started. It's loading up.
See what is happening.
Right, sure can see our screen.
Actually, in this form,
hello there. I'm here with my son, and I'd love you to tutor him on this math problem, but don't give him the answer. You can ask questions and nudge him in the right direction, but I really want to make sure he understands it himself. And he's here in the room, so you can talk to him directly.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. Let's look at the problem together. Can you first identify which sides of the triangle are the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse relative to angle alpha?
All right, so I'm pretty sure this is the angle alpha right here, right?
Correct. Correct. Now, looking at the triangle, which side do you think is the hypotenuse?
Really,
the hypotenuse?
I'm not totally sure. I think it might be this one, but I really am not sure. This side AC?
You're close. Actually, side AC is called the adjacent side to the angle alpha. The hypotenuse is the longest side of a right triangle and is directly opposite the right angle. Can you find which one is the hypotenuse?
Oh, okay, I see. So, I think the hypotenuse is this really long side from A to B. Would that be correct?
Exactly. Well done. Now that you've identified the hypotenuse, can you identify which side is the opposite side to angle alpha?
Okay, well, I mean, you told me earlier that this was the adjacent side, and I know that's the hypotenuse, so I'm guessing that this side, BC,
can you see something
is
dangerous
the
here,
side.
actually?
Great deduction.
And it is dangerous for the teacher
Absolutely
community
correct.
itself.
Now that you've identified all the sides
Our
relative
jobs are at
to
stake,
angle alpha,
if you
do
say so.
you remember the formula
But the fact of
for
the
finding
matter,
the sine of
yes,
an angle
our
in a
jobs will
right
be at the
triangle?
stake only if
Yeah,
we don't
I know
change.
that the sine is equal
And,
to the
but if we change,
opposite
there will be new
over
jobs will
the
be generated
hypotenuse.
for that. And in fact, we need a bigger,
That's absolutely
bigger
right.
change for that.
Now, can you apply that
The
formula to
earlier
find
simple
sine
task,
alpha in
if
the
you calculate the
triangle
teacher's
using the
task
lengths of the sides
to create
that we've
curriculum,
identified?
lesson plans,
Okay, so
giving
I
feedback,
mean, you told me
assessment,
that
Everything is
7, the
possible
side
to do
BC
with the
is
AI.
the opposite
But
side.
what is not possible is to
And
create the
then you
motivation
said
to learn.
that the
That's what
hypotenuse
actually
is
I
the
was
longest
saying,
side, so that would be
what's the secret
this
behind
side AB,
the
which is
future
25.
skills is how
So
you can motivate
would the answer be
there to
7 over
learn.
25?
So I always call this concept as a muda, which
Excellent
comes from the
work.
industry again.
That's
Muda is a
correct.
kind of non-value
Sine
added
alpha
activity.
equals 7
Can
over
we
25.
identify non-value added
You
activities
did a
in the teacher
great
profession?
job identifying the sides
And
and
if we can
using the
see that,
sine
you
formula.
can see that more than
If you
70%
have any
of the
more
activities, we
questions,
don't add
feel free
value
to
to the
ask.
core learning of a student. And to make sure that that core learning happens, we at CC develop something, a curriculum and the skill sets of the teachers to develop something called as an AI-enabled school. This concept is not only about the tools. I can give you 100 tools here, but it will not help you. And mainly for the schools, if you give the tools, it is very difficult to take back that tool once you are giving the power of AI to the students, which they already have. But once you put it as an organization strategy or you put as a school, that school is using this tool, it is difficult to take it back. So it is important to roll the AI strategy for the school very wisely based on your thinking, your socio-economic class, your requirements, your culture, and the more importantly, by thinking learner into the center and what kind of learners we need. So what is happening in this part, we are developing something called as the social learning robots. This is not the far end future, this is right now happening. Anyone knows Khan Migo is already using this kind of social learning robots. We can use it in India as well. Khan Migo is only available in US, but in India, you can use a similar kind of co-pilots, and that's exactly, I'm going to give a simple example how we can be able to create it. Now I will give the examples. So if the teacher's job is at risk, but what new changes can happen? I will create, if I am a teacher of mathematics and I want to teach a probability or fractions, I will create a social learning avatar of robot for me. And if I see that there are 100 students in my classrooms, which is a typical for the Indian context, you can say 60 or 40, it is impossible for me to know that every learner whether learning or not. But this is where I act as a value added activity or called as a non-muda activity. So this value addition comes whether I need to know the learners. Now when I need to know the learners, I need to know the analytics of that. For that I need to ask them some queries. Now question and answers are not the only pattern through which find. Because when you ask a question, your patience level is less than 5 seconds. The first one who answers, rest stops thinking. It is really important that you get help of technology in this part. So these social learning robots, you can create it for yourself. It's not garbage in, garbage out, but you can create it for yourself. And you can provide only concepts of the fractions, probability, and the examples which I will give you for myself, which my students can understand. If at all it is in Marathi, I will do it in Marathi. Local languages by giving local examples over there. And now once these social robots are built, the students can ask as many questions till they want to solve their queries. Now solving queries is another difficult part. Now with the help of this kind of social learning robots, you can get a feedback. Now the teacher's job is not to always solve the queries, but see what kind of new queries are generated, what kind of questions they are asking. And this is where going back to the roots. Do you know that the Indian education started not with the information sharing model, but we started way back, even before Gurukulas, we started with the concept of Paksha and Pratipaksha, where it is always the knowledge seeking, we call, not as a student, but we call Vidyarthi. Vidyarthi means those who seek the knowledge. Seeking knowledge through questioning, asking difficult question, argumentation, negotiation, and these skills are the required for the future to seek that knowledge. Now this argumentation will happen with the social robots. And that's what the future of learning is coming. And to make that possible, we designed the AI-enabled schools. It's not only just the technology, but it's the strategy, how you can be able to develop the curriculum, teacher training, as well as how you can develop the entire learning solutions for your school. I request you to join there. Maybe you will have a lot of questions about Finland. It's not possible me as a teacher to give all the answers, but you have your own assistants over there. You can go there, you will find a website on the right bottom. It's your own AI assistants, which you can just ask the questions. More importantly, if you don't get the answer, don't worry. There is a human will have the data modeling and processing for that, and they can be able to work on the same area. Robots, if Amazon is already having social learning robots, already they have. It's not that it will be given to them. It is already they have. That's why you don't, whenever you order something on the Amazon, at least in US actually, you not only see your order status, but also see your future trends, everything, analysis. Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah. I think that's a fair question. In fact, now, currently, the most of the questions which are in the mind of the students, almost 70% of them, they are not being answered, or even if they are answered, they are not completely satisfied with that part. If you take the survey, and you will find it out. With AI and this Snapchat era of students, they are not interested in talking to you. They are interested in sending messages, interacting with the machines. They're happy for that. And that's where the benefit will come, where the social learning robots are not the kind of machine. They can be a mobile, can be a robot. Your interface can be a robot. You will find it over there, getting feedback from that. So in this case, the Amazon kind of thing, like Jeff will definitely make sure that every teacher will have their own avatar every time for answering queries and giving new motivation for the students to learn. And the teacher's job will become something different that I'm going to tell you on the part. And if you are interested, we can create your own social learning robot for your school, for your teachers. And that's what exactly we are working. And you can create it in 10 days, not more than that. It's not a technology, it's your knowledge is more important, because what is going inside is more important than the technology itself. The technology is so easy, user interface is so easy, and we can design it quite quickly for that. And that's what we are having 10 model schools right now, where we are working with AI-enabled schools, and this AI-enabled school will really make the change how the curriculum is going to modify. Now there is a bigger chance for that. You will misunderstand me having said that what then actually the teachers will do. So these are the current tasks of the teachers. I will not go through the entire list, but the most of the list is the sharing information, assignments, giving the lesson plans, test, assessment. But if you see that these are the tasks, if some of the tasks can be done by the technology, then our job is more difficult. How they can really create a positive learning environment, create inspiring students, fostering growth mindset, designing the area for the emotional support, how the new pedagogical innovations can happen where students will learn to learn. So these are the areas, that's what the next future teacher's job is there. But with the current curriculum, it's impossible to do that. Why? Because our current curriculum is mainly concentrate on the content and not on the skills. Once you teach the skills, then you don't need to worry about the content. And that's where Finland has been working since 1970s on this area. And in 2012, Finland made a drastic major change of how the skill and transversal competence-based curriculum can be designed with the help of the normal subjects like geography, physics, chemistry. These are the 7 transversal competences we use on day-to-day basis in geography, in mathematics. I will give a simple example for that. We need learn-to-learn skill. My son, when he was in grade 5, he came to me and he has one encyclopedia at the grade 5 at the age of 11 years, and he said in Finnish school, he said that, okay, we have to have around 30-page understanding about Australia as a continent. That's the first time they are hearing the bigger continents and everything. They knew because of the internet. But with this part, the teacher has given them a simple assignment. You have 1 month, these 30 pages are there. After 1 month, you will have a small test. You can use one cheat sheet of 1 page, A4 sheet, and you can use it to solve that exam. After 1 month, when the exam happened, when the test happened, the teacher asked everybody, you have to create this 1-pager cheat sheet. You have to take the notes from these 30 pages. And when the teacher collected the exam answer sheets, she did not collect the answer sheet. She collected this 1-page cheat sheet. It is allowed to use it. She was not testing the answers. She was testing the skills to write down the notes. And once you know how to write down the notes, I was really surprised that, okay, she was giving a detailed analysis that what kind of learner you are, and she gave one-on-one discussion for all 35 students under her class with a detailed notes that what can be improved in taking notes. Now that's called as a skill learning. Now when we connect all this part together, we will learn through the skills. And that's as a part of what I welcome you to learn about this. I welcome you to also experience it at CC. We host the Education Finland tours, and in the month of September, we have a quite big delegation from India traveling to Finland to understand these new innovations in the artificial intelligence as well as new innovations in the field of teacher education as well. So you are welcome to know about it, and also you can observe our classrooms, how they are doing it actually on the ground. So these are our coordinates. You can just click on that, Google search, and just click there, and we are more than happy to know about it. The future of education is really amazing, and we are really excited for that. Once we have this future part, if you would like to develop any of the short part, please make sure the technology is a tool for us. It's not the end goal, but for that, how to use the technology for the teachers and not only for the students. That's where. Thank you very much. Namaste.